Ever wondered where the fighting genre got its roots? Maybe you want to go way back to see where fighting games started to become interesting. Well, you can with Yie Ar Kung Fu, and I've played both of them. Are they worth it? I'll tell you. My name is Fortifier, and welcome to Series Slayer. I love fighting games. I always have. Growing up, Street Fighter II was the premier fighting game experience, and as I grew older, I was able to enjoy other games like Mortal Kombat, King of Fighters, and Super Smash Bros. But if you've been a subscriber to this channel for a while, then you should know I love going all the way back to the beginning of time to see how games have evolved. Yie Ar Kung Fu, the series we're talking about today, was created by Konami. At the time, I was taking on the full Konami library starting in the late 70s, and eventually arrived to the NES and MSX era, where Yie Ar Kung Fu was spawned. Now it goes without saying, but I've played both of these games, and while they are simple fighters, they do maintain some semblance of a basic plot. If you're sensitive to spoilers, then I suggest not watching this episode until you've taken the time to play them all. For those of you who are still here, let's begin. Yie Ar Kung Fu is an arcade game released in 1984. Yie Ar means 1-2 in Chinese, and the fundamental principle of the game is one player going up mano-a-mano against computer-controlled enemies, each with their own unique fighting styles and moves. Story-wise, we play as Oolong, named Lee in the Famicom version, who has to kick the dog shit out of a handful of martial arts masters, 11 in the arcade or 5 to 13 in the home conversions. That's it. Literally, the only thing you're going to do in this game is beat the shit out of one person over and over again until you get bored or you lose. Control-wise, there is some complexity to how Lee or Oolong attacks. You have a joystick and you have a few buttons. Depending on the direction of the joystick and the buttons pressed, you can utilize a variety of over 16 moves. The issue is, this is an arcade game, and because it's an arcade game in the early 80s, it is designed to absolutely skullfuck you out of your money. That's just the way that it is. I found this game in the arcade to be incredibly unfair, so I bought the Famicom version. To be honest, the Famicom version, as watered down as it is actually kind of fun. I also played the MSX version, which is, ironically, equally as fun. Yie Ar Kung Fu was a successful game, and as stated earlier, did lay the framework for one-on-one fighting games, and alongside Karate Champ from Technos, these two games walked so that Street Fighter II, not one, definitely not one, could run. Fuck Street Fighter 1. The game blows. Then we add Yie Ar Kung Fu 2. This is a different game, a different genre. Instead of one-on-one fighting, we have... It's not just moving, we have to walk towards our enemy who enjoys throwing... I don't even know how to say this without being a douchebag. Little people. I'm just gonna put it out there. These are ninja dwarves flying your way. These little shits knock down your health, and they suck. You're supposed to attack them, and it offers some extra challenge, and if you haven't noticed by now, this is essentially a beat-em-up, right? It was only released for home computers as well, which was weird. You play as Li Young, whose father rid the entirety of China, that is to say, all 3.7 million square miles of the infamous Chop Suey gang. But he missed one dude, and now that one dude has declared himself emperor, so we need to kick the shit out of his friends and kill him too. According to the manual, you're fighting ninjas on the way to the gang members, so once you get through the gauntlet of abhorrent nonsense, you then proceed to fight the gang members in one of the most clunky and annoying one-on-one fights that I've ever experienced. You are going to die unless you are an expert at this game's controls. I only ever played the MSX version of this, and I couldn't make it past level 2. However, if you have a player 2, it's not bad because you can play one-on-one with 3 different characters. Cool. So that begs the question of, is Yie Ar Kung Fu worth it? To which I say no, it's not. This is very much an experiment in creating a genre, something Konami can wear proudly on their shoulder, but it's much more like a scarlet letter on the chest. These games are very stiff and honestly kind of unfun. There's a distinct variety of platforms you can try this game on, and I encourage you to check them out at least for novelty's sake, but honestly, I won't cry if you say no thanks and let them remain in history. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this short video about a very niche part of Konami's history. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, and I'll see you next time.